All right, here's a hard truth for everybody out there. You ready? You ready for it? You're not paying attention enough on your motorcycle. I see so many videos of completely avoidable accidents where people are just simply not paying attention. And look, I get it. We have techno overlords that have a feudal state over your mind where they literally have addicted you to these apps and drained away your attention span, and we're all collectively one goldfish sharing one brain cell. But I implore you, when you're on a motorcycle, pay attention. The easiest way to not crash is to see what's happening in front of you and to avoid it. Keep a good distance between people. I mean, beginner rider traffic skills, I mean, you can talk about lane positioning and escape paths and all this stuff, and yes, it matters, but at the end of the day, I think paying attention and being focused is the number one thing. Covering your brakes and knowing how to use them before something happens is going to be your best bet, you know? You guys see me here on YouTube, and because I'm an experienced rider, I'm able to talk and ride, but I'm telling you, I'm looking at everything that's happening. I saw that truck coming in for the turn right there. I made my position in the right way, saw that guy turn off the other way. I know this intersection, know that I have 4 lanes up here to choose from. So understanding and paying attention is easily the number one beginner rider traffic skill I can impart on you guys. And that's something you can actually train, you know? You can go out and focus 100% on your ride. Focus on what's happening around you. I see so many videos, and it really honestly pisses me off. I see so many videos on TikTok, on Instagram, of people, you know, rocking some music, hands off the bars, dancing for their phones. And look, I sound like old man yells at cloud right now, but genuinely, you're riding a motorcycle. It's already a very dangerous thing to do. You don't have to introduce more variables to make it more dangerous, you know? And before I get to my next point, I did want to point out that this GSX-8R that I'm sitting on right now is a giveaway bike on yamanoob.co, my website. So if you want to learn more about motorcycling, interact with our amazing community on Discord, get automatic entries to win our giveaway bikes, discounts on your Twisted Road rentals, all kinds of amazing perks, sign up as a member in the link down below, or you can just buy a hat, a t-shirt, a hoodie, whatever you want. Support the show that way, because we are trying to make better, more educated, and cooler motorcycle riders out there in the universe. So click that link below and check it out. The next point I wanted to make actually involves what I'm doing right now. It's intersection management. You guys have to understand that once you're focused and you're riding in the right way, you will be able to prevent accidents unto yourself, right? And that's the number one accident that motorcyclists have. It's a single vehicle accident that misjudged a corner, either going too wide or low siding the vehicle or whatever it is, right? That's the most common accident. And we don't want to admit that, right? We don't want to admit that it's our own skills and our own fault that we're crashing. It's so much easier to say, that freaking cager cut me off, man. Oh, that corner had some gravel in it. Guys, you can avoid these things. I promise you can. And so intersection management is going to be your number one friend. What do I mean by that? What I mean is, once you're aware and you're observing, you can tell that you're coming up to intersections and what's happening with them, right? Like right now, I see that the intersection up there is yellow, about to turn red, and I probably won't make that light, right? You can see here's yellow, and then all of a sudden it was red. And so now I'm already slowing down, I'm noticing the traffic pattern, and I'm trying to gather as much information as possible because I can no longer go forward. I'm stuck behind this truck here, traffic is moving the other way, and I'm now paying attention to what's happening. Intersections are not a time for you to chill out, do whatever, think about your, you know, bills you got to pay, or texting back your girlfriend, or the homework you got to do, or your boss being all up your butt about your latest report. This is actually a time you need to stay very focused, because the other place that accidents often happen are intersections. And I think the biggest thing you need to think about is, what kind of intersection is this, you know? Is it a 3-way? Is it a 4-way? Is it a 2-way intersection? Are people turning right in front of you? People turning left? Because people are actually very predictable. You'll notice this as you ride motorcycles especially, but if you've been driving a vehicle for a long time, you get this weird sixth sense. It's happened to me so many times where I almost feel like I can predict what someone's going to do because of their small inputs, you know? Like, on a situation like this, we have vehicles turning left, so that traffic's already stopped. Everybody stopped over there. They can't blow through the intersection, right? Over there on the right, they actually still could, but I see that everybody's slowing down. I'm looking further down the road to see if anybody's coming in that way, and they're not, because I'm going straight. You got to think about what's your intended action and if anybody's going to get in your way. So I'm noticing that this traffic light appears to have closed off turn lanes that are blocked, right? So they have the protected arrow, there's no yield. And so now when we're ready to go, nobody can turn left over there, and there's nobody there, and there's nobody here coming into my lane. I'm good to go. So that's the kind of stuff I think about at every single intersection, because I'm not trying to get obliterated by some soccer mom in a minivan if I can avoid it, and I usually can avoid it. It's going to be your best friend. So seriously, like, I know it sounds crazy, but study the intersections when you're sitting at them. Understand traffic patterns. Try to get that sixth sense for what people are going to do. Like, I noticed this guy in front of me, you know, he's a pool and spa guy. He's probably bored at his job. I can't tell if he's texting while he's driving, but I see that he's drifting in the lane a little bit. He cut the line over there. Work trucks typically drive decently well because they have a commercial license on the line. I've noticed that truck drivers and work drivers, they tend to drive very well because they drive for a living and they have a commercial license, which usually indicates a bit of a higher step up in licensure. But what I have noticed is, you know, younger people on their phones, man, they're not paying attention. And so you kind of have to pay attention for them. You know, you'll see at red lights, people just sit there when the light turns green and they don't go. And it's not because they're doing the smart thing and waiting for traffic and the ability to go. They're just sitting on their phones and not paying attention. I have sat behind people at red lights that have randomly turned green, and then they sit there for 10 seconds before they actually go. And if you're at home, go ahead and count off 10 seconds and let me know if you think that's an appropriate amount of time to judge whether or not you can go off an intersection. It's because they're not paying attention, right? Nobody's paying attention when they drive anymore. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't ride motorcycles because somebody's gonna, you know, blast into you. It just means you have to be more diligent and understand that your focus is going to put you in safety. And so the thing I'm doing here right now, where I'm talking to you guys and I'm managing a video and I got the Insta360 behind me and my phone's in front of me, I wouldn't recommend that newer riders do this sort of thing. Don't go out and motovlog and try to create content and all this stuff. You're not ready to do that yet. Pay attention to what you're doing. You know, it's so much more important than trying to make a video for Instagram or, you know, thinking about making a cool little reel for your friends to see you riding your bike. Do that stuff later. Do that stuff a year or two down the road, because you're not quite ready to manage all that stuff yet. Like, I can very confidently talk to you guys about today's video and perfectly manage all these road conditions, right? Like, we're going here on this sweeping road. I got that truck coming up ahead of me. My lane position's set. He can't hit me, so we're gonna pass here really good. I got no visibility up here on the crest of the hill. This is all stuff that's happening automatically in my brain. I got a turn coming up, gotta slow down a little bit for it, but I'm a little track boy, so I can slow down a little later. I can trail it in right here, keep on going, no problem. But, you know, that's the kind of stuff that, as a less experienced rider, you need to be super focused on, because you're going to be actively doing these things. So intersection management is a huge part of that, man, huge part. And I know that the sensationalized clips on YouTube are the ones where, you know, people are riding and then all of a sudden somebody runs a red light and just freaking blows them apart, you know? Yes, that can happen, but to be honest, I've been riding for almost 10 years now, and those are kind of freak accidents. And you can, again, avoid them if you know where to look and what to do. Yes, there are times where there's sort of acts of God where there's nothing you could have done, but those are very rare. By definition, the crazy acts of God are pretty damn rare, and you're not going to be encountering those very often unless you're incredibly unlucky. You're not going to have your front wheel fall off while you're riding and catapult yourself into traffic and have some truck, you know, murder you while running over you. You're not going to, you know, I've seen videos of guys having crazy death wobbles and then, you know, they just go and crash and that sort of thing. If you're riding like a reasonable human being, things like that don't happen to you. You see right there, I was about to go because I assumed there was no one coming, and then that Tesla was coming in a little hot, didn't see that he was going to turn, had to check up on my rear brake. Didn't even use my front brake for that because I was already stopped. But it's just micro little things like that that motorcyclists can do after you've been riding for a little bit. It makes the whole experience a lot nicer and just a lot more smooth. The next thing I want to talk about is something that might be a little controversial just because it's just how I ride, and I really prefer riding like this. It's the concept of flow and making progress through traffic. You're on a motorcycle, right? By definition, you are a little speedier and a little smaller than the other big fish around you, right? Got the SUVs, the big trucks, and all that stuff. And you can see that as a disadvantage, or you can see it as an advantage. And I prefer to see it as an advantage. And while yes, you might get stuck in a situation where you don't want to be a small little vehicle in a bunch of cars, well, guess what? Because you're small, you can get through all that stuff. Because your vehicle is speedier, you can get through all that stuff. And you should be getting through that stuff. I believe that if you're on a motorcycle, you should be making progress through traffic. You should not be stuck in traffic as a motorcyclist, because it just puts you at risk. As I said, people are on their phones a bunch. They're going to ass pack you when they're not looking, and they're going to merge into your lane and not see you because they're expecting to see a car and you're a small little motorcycle. Dude, just get around all those people, man. Like, anytime I have traffic that I can just leave in the dust, I do. And look, here in Texas, they recently and stupidly outlawed the ability for motorcyclists to lane split because nobody knows what the hell they're doing in this government, but that's a whole other discussion. And I know, I think it's a terrible decision, because what we do as motorcyclists is we alleviate traffic. If you make us sit in the middle of all this traffic, you know, it's just not going to be very good for anybody, and it puts us in danger. So, me personally, I just cut through traffic anyways. I don't care if it's not legal, because it's safer for me to do so. And if a cop pulls me over for it, I'm going to tell him, write me up the ticket, because I'm doing something that's safer for me. And it is safer, and it's been proven to be safer when done respectfully and responsibly. So, making your way through traffic, whether it's not swerving between a bunch of cars, but just if there's a group of cars, get through them. Find where it's clearer and create that space cushion, you know, front, back, side to side. I want at all times around me a space cushion. I don't like riding and having a huge pickup truck next to me, another guy next to me, and a car right in front of me. You know, I hate that stuff. And if I can avoid it, I will. And I think it's super important to get through traffic as a motorcycle. You should not be stuck in the middle of all this traffic. Because the one point I really want to make, and this relates back to intersections and being focused and all the stuff we're talking about today, is that might is right when it comes to traffic. The bigger the vehicle, the more deference you have to provide it. That goes for being in a car, and it especially goes for being on a motorcycle. You know, we can sit there all day and after we have a crash say, oh, but I had the right of way. I was supposed to, you know, do this. Would you rather give up the right of way or have a crash? I'd rather give up the right of way any day of the week, and I do it all the time when I'm on a motorcycle because I don't want to get killed, you know? I'm not going to go through a stop sign when I see someone coming in way too fast just because I have the right of way. I'm not going to do something saying that, well, I was supposed to be there. I'm literally operating 24/7 on this thing, or any motorcycle for that matter, in relation to keeping myself safe. That's all I care about. All the traffic suggestions and laws and signs, I try to follow them the best I can because they have safety designed in mind. But I'll tell you what, I'm not militantly following rules just because they're rules. I'm doing stuff to make sure I stay safe, which is why I said that I will happily filter through traffic and get through when I need to and do what I have to do, because that's what's going to actually keep me safe. And having an escape path defined when you're riding your bike is a big thing too, you know? When you have an escape path defined and you know if something goes wrong, you have somewhere to dip off into, that's a nice place to be. Like, for example, on this road right here, we're on a nice twisty road, we're enjoying ourselves a little bit. I'm using the lane, having a little bit of fun. But, you know, if someone were to come the opposite direction, I'd prefer to be over here to give them a little bit of room in case they overcook the corner, which can happen sometimes on this road, right? While I'm also managing my speed and managing my line, my brakes, all the stuff I'm supposed to be doing while I'm riding, the biggest thing I'm thinking about is, okay, how am I staying safe here, you know? How am I making sure that no one's going to run into me in a crazy way? Keep a nice wide line there, because if someone overshoots it there, you have bandwidth, right? And that's the big thing for me, is creating bandwidth, creating safety, creating cushions, and really thinking through, how am I going to make sure I arrive at my destination? Because that's the biggest thing I think about personally when I ride my motorcycle, because I have loved ones, I have a family. I don't want to not arrive where I said I was going to arrive. One thing I do actually that's a bit of a mantra in our family is, before I leave my house, I tell my wife, hey, I'll be back. I'll come right back. You know, I just instinctively say that just to tell myself that the goal of me leaving is to come back, you know? And I'm going to do everything while I'm out here on the road to come back, right? And so having a small reminder like that, you know, when you leave riding your motorcycle, telling yourself, hey, I'll be right back, you know? That already puts it in your brain that you're going to be right back there. And I think it's a nice psychological trick to allow yourself to be safer on your bike. Because it's interesting, I think beginner riders are obviously at the highest risk of having something happen to them, you know? Okay, here's an example, right? We're coming up on this car. They are driving very, very, very slowly for road conditions here. I don't have good visibility to pass. And so rather than being impatient and just cutting this car off, I am probably going to try to find a way around them safely, right? Stay here on the outside, avoiding this kind of rougher patch in the road in the middle here, looking for an opening. All right, we have good visibility. We're going to go ahead and make the pass. And there we go. That's how it's done, right? Super simple, super easy. No muss, no fuss. Doesn't have to be dramatic. You don't have to get all up in arms. And that's the other thing I want to impart on you guys. If you take nothing else away from this video, it's calm. It's Zen. The best thing you can do when you ride your bike, not only be focused and ride well, but man, you got to be calm. There's no reason to be all hot-headed on a motorcycle because you're going to make mistakes. You know, you can think that you're going to ride in anger and you're going to ride better. You're not. You're riding so much worse. Everything comes better in life when you're calm. There's no reason to get hot-headed, especially when most car drivers, nobody's really doing anything in malice. You have to remember, nobody's thinking about you. Nobody's out there driving and trying to, you know, cut you up or mess you up or anything like that. Everyone's doing stuff accidentally, usually, because they're distracted. So if someone cuts you off or if someone does something like that, think about all the times you accidentally cut someone off, and remember that you didn't do it on purpose. You just did it because you weren't paying attention. And the vast majority of people, I'd say 99% of the incidents that I encounter on the road where someone cuts me off or does something stupid, it was just an accident, man. And you can forgive them, and it's no big deal. You can say, oh, you know, I know you didn't mean to do it, and, you know, you didn't hit me, so it's no big deal. And I'm still riding my motorcycle, and I'm having fun, and I'm still having a great day. I think that's a great way to approach it, you know? You should always be calm on your bike. Be Zen. That's going to pay so many dividends for you guys, especially beginner riders. Try to be as calm as possible. Enjoy the ride, and that's going to be your best bet. Oh, I thought I lost the stick, boys. Sheesh. All right, guys, I think that's going to end today's video where I impart some sweet Yami Noob knowledge on you. I would love for the comment section on this video to become a nice forum where we can discuss pros and cons of certain traffic skills and things that you guys look for as beginner riders. If you have any questions, drop them down below. I'll try to answer them best I can. Remember, join our community over on yaminoob.co, and I will try to answer questions the best I can on our Discord server, and you can support the show and get entered to win our fantastic giveaway motorcycles, which right now is this Suzuki GSX 8R. This thing's really sweet, and it's going to go to somebody who's watching the show right now. We'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.
Wake up! You're dreaming! You're dreaming! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! None of this is real! None of it's real! None of it's real! Wake up! Keep watching Yami Noob.